Okay, I hate therapy.
Oh, come on, who doesn't?
I know I need it. It's just hard, constantly picking apart every mistake I ever made.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that kind of the point, though? You know, to examine all that stuff so you can see the traps before you go charging headlong into them?
That's the idea. Yeah, and maybe at some point I'll be glad I did it, but it's just hard right now. Not only do I have to look at my own baggage, but I also have to look at my parents, and that's really scary. Like, my dad, he was abused, and most people who were end up abusing too. And chances are, if you were in an abusive relationship, you'll end up in another one. Not exactly something I'm looking forward to.
Oh, come on. There's no reason to be a statistic. You are armed with knowledge now.
Yeah, but does knowledge really help? My dad knows what he suffered as a kid, but he still does it to other people.
Well, you know, maybe it's not on you to figure out, you old man, you know? You just gotta figure it out yourself.
Yeah, but it's all intertwined. I hardly ever saw my dad growing up. Intellectually, I knew it was because my mom made him. But inside, it felt like my dad didn't like me. So, when Kiefer would get mad at me and yell at me, it was scary. But at least it meant I mattered to him. Like, negative attention was better than indifference.
Do you know if Kiefer was abused?
I don't know. I've never thought of that.
Well, I want to bring it up because you have to realize that he hit you not because you're defective, but because something was wrong with him, you know? It's like, once you figure that out, once you really believe that, then you can move on and you can lay down new ground rules for what's acceptable in a relationship. And then someday when the right guy comes along, you know, you can put yourself back out on the market and feel really good about it.
Like I said, you're a really decent guy. Thanks for making me feel better.
Anytime.
All right, just humor me a sec. Obviously, I don't know the players, so kidnapping seems a little extreme. Why would Nicholas's grandmother want to take Luke and Tracy?
Tracy because my dad loves her. My dad because that's how he and Helena roll. It's been like that my whole life. I could fill volumes about the Spencer-Cassadine War. Just trust me when I say there's a very real possibility that my dad and Tracy are in serious trouble right now.
So how is tracing the text gonna help?
Well, if it came from an opium-riddled third-world country, I'd be more inclined to believe it's from my dad. If it originates in Greece, Helena owns several compounds and islands over there, so she's probably holding them. Another possibility is that Helena sent the text herself.
Okay, well, let's find out.
Start with the access code.
Ethan around?
Yeah, he just left. Why don't you leave it at that?
Hey, you know, all Ethan's got to do is say the word, and it'll be like we never even met. But somehow I doubt that's going to happen.
Keep in mind, if something happens to my brother because of you, you're gonna make another enemy, and I would think you have enough already.
Dad,
Is that a minute?
what are you... I was on my way out.
No, I don't need to talk to you about something.
All right?
I need you to know that I have been listening to you as far as in the session, outside of the session, and I understand that you believe Johnny over me as far as what happened with Claudia. I went to see Carly because sometimes she helps me out with this, and she said that you asked her if I hit her.
She said no, but...
I have a bad temper, okay? And you've seen it. You've seen me out of control.
More than once?
Right. I'm not proud of that, and so you know I get angry and say things and do things that I regret. But I know where to draw the line, because I've lived with abuse. And I know how it can accelerate words to fist. But you need to understand that I would never cross the line. I'm not a perfect man at all. And I don't hit women, and I don't want you to think that I do, and I don't want you to be in an abusive relationship because you think it's okay because of our relationship. I know this is a very complicated situation, and I'm not really equipped to understand the nuances of what you're going through. But I just want you to know that I'm your dad, and I love you. And all I want to do is help you. So I was thinking maybe I could go with you to the session again, and we can just work through this.
No, thank you.
You know I don't like your father. But
Be honest, Dad. Our therapy session was a nightmare.
I know. I apologize to you.
Kiefer always apologized, and it didn't erase what he
This is
did.
a process for me. I'm gonna learn how to, listen better and not get defensive.
You don't have to put yourself through that anymore, because I don't want to be in that situation.
But your therapist says you have to be.
I don't care. I'll explain it's pointless. You don't think you do anything wrong. And you know what? That's fine. Be right.
Okay.
Be whatever you need to be. Because I know what I know. You're a screamer. And you bully people. And you probably do a lot worse. And you're never going to change.
So what does that mean? That you're just gonna write your dad off? Is that what that means?
I'm not Michael. I don't think you're this misunderstood guy. I don't make excuses for you. And I'm not going to let you use my therapy to make yourself feel better. Why don't you stop trying with me? If you need to make up for lost time with one of your kids, go find Dante.
Are you sure you can't stay longer? Because I would love...
do me a favor. When you see Ethan, let him know I stopped by.
I'm not your message center. And what makes you think I'll be seeing Ethan?
He likes you.
Not mutual.
Ethan is not very easily dissuaded. You should know that. But hey, feel free to give it your best shot.
Yeah, I don't need your permission, Johnny. And I won't let my brother face certain death just because you want a shield to go up against Sonny. It won't work, anyway. Sonny's gonna come after you. He doesn't care if a Spencer's involved.
You don't get it, do you? I don't want a shield. I want Sonny to take his best shot at me. That way, I can shoot back.
I could really learn to hate that guy.
Maybe you're just jealous.
Jealous of Johnny Zakara.
From what I understand, Luke Spencer is quite the original. Not your typical parent.
Yeah, Dad colors outside the lines, but what does it have to do?
I think it's more than that. I mean, Luke Spencer paints the canvas of his own life in blazing color. Lines exist to be crossed. That had to have been a pretty heady experience, growing up with that type of role model.
What are you getting at?
And yet, you chose a completely different route. I can't help but think that there's some reckless Spencer inside, just screaming to get out. And John Sakara pushes that button. I mean, maybe if you weren't a cop, an ex-wife, 2 kids, you'd be riding shotgun right along with Johnny.
Do you overanalyze everything?
Pretty much. It's always the quiet ones. Hey, the trace is coming through from Luke's text.